Hi there, Andre. My name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting this essay for you. I understand that you have taken the IELTS before and that you need to get at least a 6. So let's take a look at your letter and see what you wrote. This is the English and Homestay letter. The first thing that I want to tell you is that when we write a letter, the salutation is usually on its own line. Okay, so it should have been Dear Smith's family, and then hit enter. Okay, so and then leave another whole line between the salutation and your paragraph. Okay, so this was inappropriate, and it should have been, like enter and then enter again, so that you leave an entire line before you actually start to write. Okay, let's see what you said though. Dear Smith's family, my name is Andrei Fadiv. I'm from Moscow, Russia. I'm 32 years old. I'm writing in connection with my future English and Homestay program trip. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to stay at your home. It's much easier to join unfamiliar country when you have such a great support. I would be grateful if you could tell me which places I should not miss, what cultural aspects I should be aware of, minimum quantity of money I should have with me, and maybe something else, what you consider as important. I'm a huge fan of cars. Maybe you can advise me some car museums and exhibitions. I also would like to know some good places for shopping. My plane will arrive at the 8th of April at 5 p.m., so I guess I will be at your place by 8 p.m. Looking forward for our met. Yours sincerely, Andre. Okay, so I wanted to read the whole letter through before I started correcting on grammar and things like that. There is quite a bit here to correct because there were a lot of grammar mistakes. The good news is about your grammar mistakes is that they didn't prevent me from understanding what you meant. And so that's a good thing. If they had, then that would have probably dropped your score lower. But I was able to understand at the whole time throughout the whole letter what you were saying. Now, we've already talked about this, okay? So I'm going to just skip over it right now. You're supposed to introduce yourself. You did. But even at band 6, you need to do a little more grammatically. So rather than just saying, my name is Andre, etc., etc., you needed to back up a little bit. Basically, you should have started with this sentence. Dear Smith's family, I'm writing in connection with my future English and Homestay program trip. The reason why we start with that is because when you're writing a formal letter, and this is a formal letter, you always start with the reason why you are writing. Okay? So that's how it should have begun. Dear Smith's family, I'm writing in connection with my future English and Homestay program. Then you can say, my name is Andrei Fadiv. I'm from Moscow, Russia, and I am 32 years old. Why? Because you've got a list of 3 things, and when you have a list of 3 things, before the last item, you have to put and. Then you can say this. I want to thank you all for inviting me to stay at your home. It's much easier to don't join a country, but it's much easier to be in a foreign country or in an unfamiliar country when you have such great support. And then you didn't need the A here. Now, I also think, Andre, that all of this should have been one paragraph because it really goes to that. Did you have it? No, you didn't put it here. But it really goes to that first bullet where you have to introduce yourself. So this for me should have gone in one paragraph. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about in this letter is that this really, it should be more formal. You don't know the Smiths family. You've never met them before. This is your first communication with them. And so the understanding is that this is formal. You can be informal with someone that you've met before, that you have, some sort of an association, some sort of a relationship with. But here, seeing as how you've never even spoken to them before, I think you should have been formal. So what does that mean? Well, the first thing it means is that no contractions. So wherever it says I'm, it should be I am. Why is this important? Because the examiner is going to be looking to make sure that you understand the way we write in a formal letter versus the way we write in an informal letter. Your tone, your register, it has to be appropriate. And if it's not, they're going to mark you down for that. Okay, so that's one thing. All of these I'ms should have been I am. And then some of the language has to change as well. So it's not I want to thank all of you, but instead it should be I would like to thank all of you. And then this should be it is much easier. All right? So that's that. This was okay. I would be grateful. That's actually very, very appropriate. So that was good. But now you can see that here you've got some informal and then suddenly you go formal. There's still some things that I want to fix here. So let's look at it. I would be grateful if you could tell me which places I should not miss, what cultural aspects I should be aware of. Now, what you're doing here is this is a list. And so you're missing a wonderful opportunity to show some good grammar, to show, you know, some better language skills. So I would not have put all of this into one sentence. So let's split it up a little bit. I would be grateful if you could tell me which places I should not miss and what cultural aspects I should be aware of. Full stop. Furthermore, what do you recommend should be the minimum quantity of money I should have? And please inform me of anything else you may consider important. Okay? And then here, let's see. Now, you've kind of made this a question. It's a little grammatically incorrect. Maybe you could advise me some car museums. That's not really a question, you see, but you've given it a question mark. So I would like to rephrase this a little. Again, I'm a huge fan of cars is very informal, so let's change that a little. As I am very fond of cars, perhaps there is a car museum or exhibition in the area that you can recommend me. Okay? Something like that. Or if there are any car museums or exhibitions in the area, please let me know as I am very keen on cars. All right, that also would have been very nice. And then this was fine. My plane will arrive on the 8th of April, capital A. And this too was a little informal. I guess I will be at your place by 8. It's just a little informal. So how about this? So I plan, or how about this even better? I anticipate being at your home by 8 p.m. Okay? It's not I guess I will be, but I anticipate being at your home by 8 p.m. And then this should have been looking forward to our meeting, MEETING. And then the last thing, you capitalize the first word. The second word doesn't need to be capitalized, but again, you hit enter and then your name goes below, not on the same line. So you were good in terms of answering all of the bullets. You did that fine, but you really needed to work on some of the structure, on some of the conventions of letter writing. I don't think you mentioned to us when you plan to take the exam again, but I really would like to see more work from you. Not just task 1, but task 2 for sure. I would also like to see. So there'll be some information in the email accompanying this correction on how you can continue working with us. I'd like to continue helping you prepare. So let's see if that's something we can do. And I want to wish you lots and lots of luck.